Welcome back to the Cossy Arsenal channel. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. Arsenal are now 2 wins in the UEFA Champions League, and we're one of 5 teams that have actually managed to do that. Obviously, Olympiacos was a game that we were supposed to win, expected to win. The fashion in which we won it may be a little bit unconvincing because Olympiacos did create a couple of chances, but I love this Arsenal team. I love the new Arsenal. I love what I'm saying. The Arsenal team that has a lot of squad depth. The Arsenal team that can go the other way and create a lot of chances. The Arsenal team that can kill off games. The Arsenal team that can defend that one goal. And that's what we saw yesterday against Olympiacos. A team that is so confident they will beat you at 1-0. And if that is not enough, in the 90th minute, 80th minute, they will get a second. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. Who was your man of the match in this one? Obviously, it was given to Martin Ødegaard. He had a good game, didn't he? Had a very, very good game. And there is something that we're starting to see. We'll talk about Ødegaard. We'll talk about Gabriel Martinelli as well in this video. We'll talk about, I think the new Arsenal as well. But there is something that we're starting to see with Arsenal now. And that is players are trying so much to fight for their places in the team. That is not the same as the way it was last season or the season before that, where a player like Ødegaard would know even if I don't play well, we don't have another option. Of course, we have Ethan Nwaneri there, but Nwaneri is not as good and as experienced, right? But right now, if you're Saka, you know there is Noni Madueke, a player that is really capable and can do the job that you're doing. If you're Ødegaard, you know that you've got to fight for your place. Otherwise, there is Eberechi Eze in that team. If you're Mika Marino, there is Declan Rice. And if you're Declan Rice, there's Mika Marino. And if you're Zubimendi, you know there is Christian Nogard in the position. And what we are seeing now is Arsenal players have started giving us really high performances. And obviously, with Martin Ødegaard, I don't want to actually say anything about him. I think he's always been a quality player. I think he's always been a player that is willing to show up. I think the difference for him has always been resting time. He hasn't been able to get that, enough rest and reset and come back as a fresh player. And I think he's getting that now with Eberechi Eze around, with Ethan Nwaneri around. We can rest him. We can give him enough time on the sidelines. And when he's come back, he's been absolutely brilliant. In that Newcastle game of the weekend, we talked about him. He comes into the game and he changes it. All of a sudden, he comes onto the pitch and Arsenal are breaking through the lines. We know he's good at that. We know he's got the ability to kind of slow the game down. He likes to slow time and then, freeze moments. And when he does that, he is going to pick up very dangerous passes. And we saw that yesterday. Ødegaard, man of the match. No question about that. He had a very, very fantastic game. 1 assist, obviously, in the game, and then, a performance that is worthy of a captain. Then let's talk about Gabriel Martinelli for a second, because Martinelli has now scored 3 goals in the last 4 games for Arsenal, and I think he's one of the players that at times we misunderstand, and I'm one of the people that are really, really guilty when it comes to misunderstanding Gabriel Martinelli. Fabrizio just tweeted, I think after the game, and he said 3 goals in 4 games for Gabriel Martinelli for Arsenal. He's actually becoming, a star. He's on fire for Arsenal this season, and that is kind of true, right? But I think again with Gabriel Martinelli, you've got to ask the question. Is he, was he suffering from poor form, or was it a question of deployment and a question of rotation? For me, I think Gabriel Martinelli is a good player. I think he's one of the players that we have in this team that you can rely on in terms of finishing. I think he is that good, right? And all of us have been asking the same question. How come that this guy has lost 3 of his most valuable abilities at once? It is like it is difficult to actually think about, right? Because Martinelli is quick, Martinelli is brave, and he's skillful. So he'll take on players 1v1, and we remember his time, taking on players 1v1, Trent Alexander-Arnold in particular. Remember those days, right? And then you have a Gabriel Martinelli that was at some point in time in this Arsenal squad one of the best finishers that we had in the squad. And when all that is no longer available, you've got to ask yourself a question. What is going on, right? What is really going on? I think Mikel Arteta has found the answer to Gabriel Martinelli's problems. Can we play him closer to goal? Yes, we can. Can we rotate him so that he doesn't get tired too much, because he's a quick player, he's a pacey player. Playing him every single game maybe doesn't help us much, right? And I think he's just become a much better player. He's just become a more effective player. He's a very effective player on the from the bench. And if we lose Trossard one day, maybe he goes to another club, maybe he retires from football, wherever, in whichever way we lose Trossard, I think we have a very good Trossard replacement. And for me, that's Gabriel Martinelli. Because he's one of those players that you can think about, can come from the bench and change a game. Martinelli, Eze, and Mika Marino. Those three, if I see Mika Marino from the bench, I know that game could change, right? Because he adds something very different to the front line and the midfield as well. If I see Eze from the bench, that game can change. If I see Gabriel Martinelli from the bench, that game can change. If I see Madueke, by the way, from the bench, that game can change as well. So, what did we typically see in this game? What did we see in the Arsenal Olympiacos game? Again, there was continued domination, and I think Arsenal under Mikel Arteta, it's not a mistake. It's not a coincidence that we are putting in these very, very good performances, right? But look at this. I want you to look at this, right? We scored only 2 goals, and it is a clear understatement of the performance. Arsenal had up to 61% ball possession, and we had 16 shots on goal, 5 on target, and 82% passing accuracy. That is how effective we were, right? That is how effective we were in that game. It was a total domination. It was... If Arsenal don't win this game, I don't know what the match reaction would have been, right? I don't know what the match reaction would have been, because we did everything right from minute 1 to the end of the game. We did everything a team is supposed to do to win a game. And I remember saying this on Monday during the Manchester City, during the Newcastle reaction, that this is a braver Arsenal, but this is turning out to be a more effective Arsenal, right? And the effectiveness is coming in from, can we start attacking from minute 1? But we do have the players that are going to take the chances that we are creating as well. And that's what we saw yesterday. I looked at Olympiacos, and they had these moments where they crossed the ball into the penalty area a lot. They forced a very good stop. I think 2 good stops from David Raya as well. And they kept our backline busy. Of course, they've got players like Daniel Podence. He's not a bad player, is he? We've seen him at Wolves before. But for the greater part of the game, it was Arsenal, right? The chances that we created in that game. Ødegaard, what are you doing, bro? You should be scoring. Trossard, chance after chance. Who else got very good chances? I think Ødegaard didn't get very good chances as well, but he gets the good chance that leads to the goal. So it was total domination. And for me, if you want to win the league, you're going to have many games like this, right? You play Bournemouth, you play Brighton, you play Brentford, you play Leeds, you play Burnley, you play Southampton, you play Sunderland. For me, you've got to have many games where you dominate, you're effective, You win and you move on. Because that is how you win titles. That is how you win silverware. That is how. I remember at the beginning of the season, I was talking to someone about Liverpool, and we were saying that Liverpool is a little bit living on the edge. They're winning games very late on, too much, and they're not scoring enough, and they're conceding. And they have not got a win in the last 2 games. Now, Liverpool are a very good side, and they will bounce back. But I think for what Mikel Arteta is understanding and is reading in the room is, can we win more games, right? I think he's understood the assignment. Can we win more games comfortably? If you're playing Olympiacos, if you're playing, let's say you're playing Atalanta, can you win more games comfortably? Because if you do that, regardless of what people are going to say, if you do that, that is how you win games. And that is how you win a trophy for me. Yeah, there will be difficult games. Maybe you will need to win ugly. Maybe you will need to win games in the 90s, right? That will come. But for the games that you can win comfortably, please win comfortably. And Arsenal are doing that very, very well. So, obviously, we are heading into the international break. We have one more game coming up over the weekend, and then we move into the international break. But that was a good win. That was a very good win. We are 5th on the table in the Champions League. That really doesn't matter. We have some difficult games coming up. Very, very difficult games coming up. And I want to show you some of them because the first 2 wins have been really important if you think about it from an Arsenal perspective. They've been very important. The games that are coming up are a little bit crazy for Arsenal in the Champions League, right? In the Champions League. So I'm just going to show you some. Over the weekend, right? Over the weekend, we'll take on West Ham. That is not a very difficult game. It's going to be a Saturday. That's not a very difficult game. West Ham have a new manager, but that is not... No one should be scared of that. And then we shall have the international break. And then after that, you have Atletico Madrid. You have Slavia Praha, right? You have Bayern in the Champions League, right? You have Club Brugge. And I know we have... I think we have something Barcelona, don't we? So, we have Bayern and Atletico Madrid, right? Those are going to be very difficult. Very difficult. But if we can manage maybe to get a point of Bayern and maybe a point of Atletico Madrid, I think we have qualified. Because then you have Slavia Praha, you can win that one. And then these other small games as well, we can win as well. So, Arsenal unbeaten in their last 2. Can we create a run? I think we can. Hit the like button. See you soon.